Hey everyone, it's Paul McCarthy with Hero Facility Services. Welcome to another edition of Facilities First. So I have to say, this is the first time I ever had a call on a facility manager for a emergency. Normally they're calling on me. I had a guest that had to back out, and I had my hero, Keri Steers, who's going to join me today. She's with Dutch Bros. We're going to talk some SUVs. We're going to talk some fun. We're going to talk walkout songs. So without further ado, Keri Steers.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me.
What's going on, girl?
Oh, living the dream.
Always living the dream. So you are my hero. I appreciate you for coming on such short notice. And when we talked yesterday, you intrigued me with something. I asked you about your passion. I made a minivan reference about being a soccer mom, and the hair on your head stood up. You did not like that. So you made a comment about colored SUVs.
Yes.
And there's a difference between a one that's a color black
Yep.
and then one that's color white. And I'm stuck on this. My ADHD is going crazy. Explain this to me.
I've got you. So there is a huge stigmatism against black SUV moms and white SUV moms. So the big difference is the black SUV mom, she's in her own world. She's thriving on caffeine, dry shampoo. She's running a million miles a minute. She's always leaving late, but she's early because we are pedal to the metal. We drive fast. We've got Metallica blaring. We're screaming at our kids. It's great, but it works. Like, it's a full process. And then you've got the white SUV moms. Those are the moms. I love them. I'm not there yet, but their cars are immaculate. They're the ones that have like the bins in the back that are color labeled. They've got like the perfect snack for their kids. Like, their life is just wholeheartedly together. They speak in gentle tones. Like, they're calm, they're mellow. They've got their Stanley Cup. Like, they are just together moms. And I'm just not there. So I wholeheartedly am a black SUV mom. I drive too fast. My music's loud, and I solve problems in between red lights. It's great.
So I need to come up with a podcast with you called the Squirrel SUV, right?
I'm in. We can talk about it all day.
Done. Done. So a fun question that I've started asking people, because if you watch, boxing, UFC, anything, these fighters, even Morgan Wallen has a walkout song.
Yep.
So tell me, what would yours be, Keri?
So I decided to go with Back in Black by AC/DC because, be honest, I come in hot, I get stuff done, and there's a whole lot of attitude that comes with it.
Wow.
I thought that was a good choice for me. I was like, that is perfect for me. And I love AC/DC.
That is a lot of sass. You're a sassy young lady.
I am.
I love it though. I love it. Back in Black. Oh wow. So I'm gonna go to the questions, but I still have one question. We talked about it back in the green room, and our cheeks were laughing. So being ADHD and being a squirrel, what is your attraction to weighted blankets?
So weighted blankets, that gives you the idea of being snuggled without actually being touched. Because those of us with ADHD, our brain goes a million miles a minute, and being like confined and somebody holding you down just doesn't sound nice. But if you have a weighted blanket, you can still move, but it's there, so it's doing what it needs to. So it's great. And I really want to try the cold one because I feel like that would be nice.
And you said you wrap up like a cocoon?
I do. I wrap it up around my head. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, I wrap it around and I like burrito roll myself while I sleep. It's like a little hurricane next to my poor husband.
Well, I can feel your pain. Half the time when Marcy wakes up, she has about 12 inches on her side, and I'm all over the place with my pillow that I'm hugging tightly.
Yes.
So, all right, that was great. I love talking about that in the green room. That was a lot of fun. So now I'm going to get to the fun stuff. We're going to talk about, you are a rock star in facilities. And I noticed that you posted yesterday. Everybody loves you. And it's your personality. You're awesome. So, speaking of personalities, you've worked with a lot of different teams, a lot of different personalities. What separates great leadership from just good leadership?
So it's really nice that you asked me this question because I honestly just read Extreme Ownership. That was written by a Navy SEAL, and I'm actually currently doing the RIFMA leadership course, so doing the harmonic leadership. So I'm reading all about leadership because it's very important. The easiest way for me to say it is a good leader manages, but a great leader, they're going to connect. They ask questions, they talk, they listen, they get in the trenches with you when you need them. And ultimately, great leaders, they see people, not just the metrics. So they get to know you and they push you to fill your strengths and highlight those areas that maybe you don't currently see.
That that's so true. I always compare. I tell people there's two type of people. You have bosses and you have leaders. And bosses will stunt your growth, where a leader will water your growth and help you grow.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, there's always that aha moment in your career and in life. When did you first realize that, man, facilities is my jam? That's what I want to do.
Yes. So I, when it comes down to this, like it really clicked for me. And it started way back when I was all but 18. I worked for military housing. And it was crazy to me that like helping the new moms or the new homeowners going in and they're like, hey, I don't know how to reset a GCFI, nor do they even know what it was or how to just do like a basic unclog. So doing that and then having that skill go with them into their everyday life or whatever they're doing. And now I get to do it on a much larger scale. So I get to do it with operators. I take FaceTime calls from all of our baristas all over California and Utah. And I'm like, hey, have you tried this? Like, I had no idea this even existed. And it's something I know they're going to take into their life. And when they buy their first home, they're like, hey, this GCFI popped. I know exactly what to do because somebody told me how to do it. So having that everlasting effect and having that aha moment for everyone else just fuels my fire to do more.
That is so awesome. There are wives all over America right now that are looking at their husbands going, do you know what a GFI is? She does. So there,
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll get some message about that. Don't let that girl talk about that.
I always,
So,
that's my go-to. I'm like, especially the women, I'm like, you ever like blow dry your hair and the little button pops and you got to push it? They're like, yeah, well, that's a GCFI. Oh, I always go to the hair dryer every time because that always
so
pops it. I don't know why.
hey, that is a golden nugget for men out there.
Yeah.
That is something you can use in your marriage and you won't get in trouble for it.
Yeah. You want
So
to, it's great.
how I mean, you have to deal with a lot of vendors. You have to deal with different personalities, different, different styles. How do you balance strategic but also being connected and getting them to do the great work that's expected at Dutch Bros?
So my big thing with getting people to work with us or just staying strategic in my work is honestly just by showing up. Like it's plain and simple. I can sit here and talk KPIs or metrics all day, but truly none of it matters if you don't have that relationship. So I take your phone calls. I will show up with you on site, walk the site with you. That way it's a very clear understanding of what I'm looking for versus what they're seeing. And then together we can come up with something together versus the vendor coming in and going, hey, Keri, I seen this. Like, what should I do? And then if I don't go there or I don't take the phone call and they just make an executive decision and say it was the wrong executive decision, then we're backpedaling and it looks worse. So just showing up and being there and having those relationships is the key to staying strategic in everything.
And you and I talked a little bit yesterday about relationships and in this business it's so important to have those relationships because there's a lot of trust that Dutch Bros and the facility managers are putting in companies, whether it be a third party or just a little vendor, to go out and do these repairs. And so making those relationships meaningful And I always say you have to treat each person like a bank. You have to make a deposit to get a withdrawal. And from talking to you yesterday, that's kind of your strategy and how you live life. So that's awesome.
Yeah, no, relationships matter. They truly do.
That's a great term. Relationships matter. Done. We're done with the show now. Relationships matter. That's all we need.
That's all you need to know.
So, what's one green flag you look for in a vendor? What's that thing that you're like, oh, I can work with them.
So my big thing is follow through. If you say it, you're going to do it. And if you're going to do it, I want it on time. I want it with notes and with a smile on your face. And truly, if you do that follow through, dude, I will sing your praise until I'm blue in the face, because it's the loyalty and just the willingness to do the work that changes everything. Like, that's the worst part of my job, is like when you call somebody and go, hey, can you do this? Like, oh yeah, I can do it. And then either it slips through the cracks, they forgot, or it's 5 days later. And then I have operators calling me freaking out like, hey, why has no one shown up? I'm like, well, that's a good question. I don't
Yeah,
know why.
that goes back to that trust. I mean, and and a lot of things I think in facilities relate directly to life, but we kind of take them for granted. It's like if you tell your mom and dad I'm going to do it, and they tell you do it by 9 o'clock, you do it by 9 o'clock.
Yep.
If there's a reason why you can't, you tell them why you can't. But communication is such a key in our business, because I know from being on the other side that the last thing you want is the operator calling you, because stuff rolls downhill and then it comes to your vendor after you get it.
Yep.
What is a red flag for you? What is something that you're like, hair sticking up, not doing this one?
So a big red flag for me is, and it's so tedious and weird, but when they show up and they're in a broken down, unlabeled car, they're wearing nothing that relates to the business, that to me just throws red flags right from the get go. Only because I'm really nervous of who sent this guy and if he's truly even supposed to be here.
That's a good point. We used to call them chucks in a truck.
Oh,
And I'll tell you, somebody like Dutch Bros or a big retail chain, they don't need trucks in a truck pulling up. And you know, God bless all the small business owners, but there's some reasons why you go with somebody you trust that has some skin on the wall.
yeah, I was gonna say it always, because that's just it. Most stores, I mean, even if it's not Dutch Bros, like if you go to McDonald's or Wendy's or any of it, it's all 16-year-old kids. So if you have somebody to show up in a rickety van saying, hey, I'm here to do this, and there's no label, they have no card, like it throws all sorts of red flags. The store's calling me going, hey, are they supposed to be here? Like, did we hire somebody? And I'm like, well, let's look. And then usually, like, it comes down to it, and we have, but we've even ran into situations where I didn't hire a vendor. So I'm like, don't let them in. I don't know why they're there.
Really?
It's happened.
Oh God. Well, so with stuff like that happening, how do you stay sane?
So what's crazy, and this was something like I talked to my coworker Scott with about yesterday, because I don't ever feel like it goes insane. Like, I feel like the chaos fuels me. Like, I have the personality, the sarcasm, it just fits with the chaos. So when the chaos comes, it doesn't rattle me, it fuels me, and I seem just to get more done. So like when it comes, I'm like, oh, we can do this. And it's great to minimize the storm from the operators, because obviously their world is ending for whatever reason. So it's good to mellow them out and go, hey, no, dude, I've got you. And to have that coming in, and then having a good vendor that's going to back you, that's like, hey, dude, I've got you. So it's a trickle effect, and it's just awesome. So the
You
chaos
know,
makes me happy.
it's hilarious because I once heard the description. Well, I've heard it many times now, but the description of an ADHD person is like a computer with 47 tabs open in their brain at the same time.
And there's
It's
music coming from one of them.
exactly. and you're like, which thought,
Yes.
singing Country Roads by John Denver. And one of the great things about being ADHD is we thrive on chaos. It's kind of like our adrenaline rush. It's our dopamine rush, really. So sometimes we all know that ADHD people run at high peaks, but sometimes there are those days when you don't want to get out of bed and you're like, my mind is just fried. What's your reset?
So what's funny is it's even more chaos. So my reset is the wrestling tournaments, the soccer games. I'm my son's baseball coach. So no question about it, I am loud at those sports. My son, when he was doing lacrosse, he told me he could hear me clear across the field. He's like, Mama, I hear no one else but you because I scream to the point I've even had other coaches that are like, ma'am, can you scream this for me? Because I am very loud. I've even been accused of being a cheerleader. No, I was not a cheerleader, but I am very loud. And I love the wrestling matches. I love the lacrosse. So cheering them on and going to their sporting events on the weekend just reminds me why I work so hard during the week, because I expect greatness out of my boys and I cannot expect greatness out of them if I'm not being great myself.
That is kick, you know what?
Yeah.
So, ADHD moment. Two things came to me while you were talking. Is being the loud, friendly, cheering mom a black SUV thing or a white?
Honestly, with how loud I scream and with what I scream, I'm gonna go with it's a black SUV mom thing.
Okay. So now that we've got that clear.
Yeah.
And then my second question is, you said you coach your son's baseball team?
I do. I even do the wrestling because there's so many kids in wrestling. I'm on the mat with my son, coaching him, teaching him things. So I'm there learning just as much as he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to put a full warning out. Do not mess with Keri. She is a badass.
I am learning cool wrestling moves. I'm just throwing it out there. I haven't tried them on a big human. Usually it's a 6-year-old. It's pretty interesting to learn.
A big human. So, big human, she's ready for you now. She's going to try out the moves.
I'm going to become a wrestler. It's next on my goal.
The next thing I was going to say, but I don't know if I need to phrase it this way. I was going to ask if I gave you a megaphone, but I'm starting to think I don't need to give you a megaphone. If I just asked Keri, what would you want to scream to the whole facility maintenance world and facility managers if you were on the sideline watching them? What would you say?
My biggest thing that I would love to scream is check on your people. So not just the parts. So obviously having like a clean filter for your HVAC matters. Doing everything facilities related matters. But going into the crew and making sure that they felt seen and understood or their issues are validated, that is huge. So even the communication between the facility managers and everyone at the store, that is a huge misconception that they just put in a work order and then from there we only deal with just vendors. You have to have that relationship with the operator and you have to check on them and make sure that they're validated.
That's something you can scream from the mountaintop. Yeah. And I'll give you a megaphone for that one because that's so true. That's so true. It goes back to the relationships. And you can't get something out of somebody if you haven't put the time in with the relationship.
Yeah.
So let's talk about mentorship. And we can talk about two different ways. Did you have a mentor when you first got in?
So not really. I've actually done a lot of this just on my own. And because from just my work history, I've known so much, I've actually just really done well at doing it. I do believe having a mentor or having mentorship matters. Coming to Dutch Bros, I did get my first ever feedback from a review because that was my big thing is I've never received criticism of like what I'm doing wrong. I'm going to just take it as I'm amazing. But we all know I'm going to make mistakes. I just don't know what those mistakes are. So it was really nice to actually get that criticism and then taking that and rolling with it And I've just been open a lot more and having more confidence in myself, because that was my big thing is a vendor would call me and they would say something. And even though I knew what I was talking about, I would question myself like, well, maybe, but I was right. And they're like, no, you need to have the confidence in yourself to just be like, no, that's not how this works. This is exactly what it is. And then also be humbled in the fact that if I am wrong, just take it for what it is. Go, hey, no, you're right. My bad. Let's move on. Thank you for the lesson.
That's one of the, I think, the coolest things about having, being a mentor or having a mentor is instilling the confidence in the person. Because, like you said, you knew you were right, but you just had that little bit of maybe I'm wrong. And it's a presence that you have when you have that confidence, and you can see it right away. And on the vendor side, if you're talking the vendor, you can hear it in their voice on the other end.
Yep.
So I always tell people, listen, we're human. We're not perfect. I'm willing to fall on my sword when I have to, because that's what you do. You
Yeah.
fall on your sword. So let's talk about compliments, because being a BA like you are, um, I'm sure you've got some, but what's the most meaningful one? What's the one that touched Keri's heart?
So there was one, and it even made me cry a little bit. And I'm not much of a crier, but I had an operator call me and they're like, hey, I just wanted to say, you make me feel safe. I can call you whenever. They're like, I don't feel scared to call you at 5 a.m. or 10 p.m. He's like, you might be a little snappy because you might have been asleep. He's like, but I know it's going to just take you that moment to wake up. He's like, and you're truly here for me and you listen to me and you get it fixed. There's no drama. It's just so seamless. He's like, it's amazing. And then he called me a goat. And I didn't know what a goat meant because I instantly went to like the video of the goat that like makes all the noise with his tongue out. And I'm like, are you saying like I'm spastic? He's like, no, greatest of all time. And I was like, oh, I'm like, definitely went the wrong way on the goat thing, but I get it now. So now I even tell people, I'm like, oh, you're a goat. And then my husband teases, he's like, what are you, 20? And I was like, we're all children on the inside. It's fine. So.
Okay, Keri, I'll just say I'm past the half century mark and I knew what goat was, but that's beside the point. We won't go down that. But you did touch on two things that I think leaders and facility managers out there need to hear is listening and being heard. That's important with your operators, with even your store personnel, for y'all the baristas. They just want you to listen. They just want you to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
So you are a ball of fire. You are somebody who just breeds happiness. I mean, you have this aura and energy around you. How do you want people to feel after they work with you?
So what's funny, it's all back to the same thing. When people work with me, I want them to feel respected and heard. I know I have a lot of sarcasm and I know I can be a lot, and I'm very, I was gonna say, what's a good word for it? Because I'm so much, I come off very aggressive, and it's never my intent to overstep or make them feel like I'm just like overpowering them. So I'm learning to like step back, and I definitely want them to feel heard and realize that they're humans. Like they're not just a work order to me. They're not just a vendor to me. Like you are human and you are truly valued as a person.
That's awesome. So there's a line in the sand that we all have. What is Keri's value or principle that she's not going to compromise on?
So I will not compromise on integrity. If you say I've got you, I want you to have me. Don't drop me. Don't lie to me. I suck at lying. I can't even keep secrets from my husband. And he already knows what he's getting for Father's Day. He knew what I got him for the wedding because he instantly knows I'm hiding something because I just try not to talk. And then he'll say something and then I try to backpedal and he's like, what? So I just tell him because I don't have the time for lies. I'm busy. I've got a schedule. You've got to keep up with me. But if you lie to me and have to try to figure out what you're talking about, you just wasted my time.
Yeah, That's a good point. Now, I giggled when you said he's already got his Father's Day gift, because one of the problems I have is, because of my impulsivity with ADHD, is I'll get Marcy a present and it arrives 5 days before her birthday, 5 days before Mother's Day, and I stink at wrapping. So I typically have my daughter wrap for us, but I always say, do you want what I got you early? It's that impulsivity that we have as ADHD. So I thought you were going there, but that's that's a great value, and nobody should ever compromise on integrity.
Yeah.
It's your name, it's your business. So my new ending question for everybody. Scott did not get to do this, but what question should I ask you that I don't even know how to ask you, or I should have asked you?
So the question I came up with was, who are you outside of the job, and how does it make you better at your job?
Tell me about it.
So that's just it. It's my personality. It's the ADHD. Truly, I feel like everyone that has ADHD should just go into facilities, because your day is never the same. And then that keeps your brain completely focused, because you've got plumbing, grease traps, HVAC. It's not tedious in the fact that you're getting bored. It's always something new, and someone's always calling you about something. You never know what's going to happen. So it's super exciting to do that. And then I am such an extrovert that it doesn't matter what kind of situation you put me in, I'm going to make a good time out of it. And I always tell people, I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. Life is short. Enjoy it. You've got to have fun. If it's not fun, then it just sounds boring.
You talked about ADHD and people in facilities. Of course, the 47 tabs in my mind were opening and closing and thinking, but the one you said something about power, and it's really cool to see these days that people, as they get older, they recognize that ADHD is really a superpower, and we're able to. I compared it to a Rubik's cube, where somebody else is trying to solve it. I'm already 3 moves ahead of them. And in facilities management, that's huge for you.
Yep. You always have to be ahead of the game.
So, what if I said, what superpower do you have with your ADHD? Would you be able to answer it right now?
Yeah.
What
So
what's,
super
what's
cool.
your superpower?
My superpower with my ADHD and just being so hyper focused on everything. My big thing, and it's crazy because I've even had coworkers that see it. I am so tedious. I have everything mapped out. My email is so well organized to keep my brain focused that it just rolls into one another. And they're like, dude, you're on top of it. But then if you like mid stop me in a question, I'm like, wait, what? And then I have to take a moment I'm like, wait, my brain hasn't caught up to my mouth yet. I'm like, please hold. And then like, I just go right into it. And they're like, oh, so it's great. It works out and it just all flows very well.
Does it drive you crazy when you look at your spouse's phone and they have 2,837 emails unread?
I don't look at it because I can't. I go in and I delete it. Or even if he has mail stacked on the counter, if it's there, this is my opinion. If you have anything on my counters longer than 2 days, you obviously didn't need it and it was trash. I
Do
have
you hear
thermoway
that? Do you hear
registration.
that, Marcy? That's coming from another woman. So Marcy is a paper person, and she has paper everywhere.
I can't.
And she won't let me clean out the garage because she knows if I go to that garage, 99% of it's going to the trash.
Mm.
So, but she probably right now, if she was watching this, she would probably tell you that she has 2,837 emails unread. And if I look at it, it makes me cry, because I'm the type of person, if I have one red dot on my iPhone, it drives me crazy. And I
Yeah,
don't know if that's ADHD. I don't know if it's OCD. I don't know what it is. But
I
Keri,
I get it. I even shut all the notifications off, like the games that my kids have, because I can't stand the red dots. Like it saying I have a notification drives me nuts. So I get it. It's fair. It's a fair
well,
thing.
we're running out of time. So I just want to tell you, from Hero Facility Service, you are my hero today. And I can't thank you enough for jumping in last minute. I appreciate you coming on. Shout out to Scott for hooking me up. And I look forward to talking to you in the future. And y'all, we'll be back next month. We'll have another person. See you next time. Facilities first.
Bye, everybody.